Hello, everybody. This is actually a repeat because I just finished a live video on Instagram. However, I was unable to share it. Not share it. I was unable to save it. And now what I'm trying to do, I'm trying to post this live video as I do it to my emotional physical therapy group. So hopefully this works, okay? But I'm asking the question about you being triggered. A couple of days ago, I actually posted that graphic of myself from last week. I took a picture and created a graphic where I said that I am celebrating the fact that I love the woman that I am. Now, that may not have seemed like a big deal to some people, but it was a big deal to me because that's something that I would have never, ever said aloud, even though my actions may say louder, okay? But I would have never said that aloud. And you know, the conditioning in the culture, okay? The conditioning in the culture is that to actually say that you love yourself, and not in a rhetorical, not in a far away type way, is to be putting yourself under a microscope for folks to find fault and say, well, I don't understand. I don't see why she likes the woman she is because she got this going on. None of that matters. All that matters is what you feel within yourself. And when I posted that, because I was stepping outside of my comfort zone, I don't like being poked at. I know what that feels like. I don't like people, who does? But when you're called to do a work, you have to put aside what other people may say and think about you. It's time out for that. Because the only thing I've done is stifle that woman. And in stifling that woman, I had done so much damage to that inner child, that little Ardella, that she was no longer putting up with it. No man, she was having some serious temper tantrums. So again, a couple of days ago when I posted that, goodness, within hours I was triggered. And I was triggered by an experience where I was reminded of and actually felt the energy of being loved with strings attached, okay, with conditions attached. And so as I was processing and feeling these old feelings, I did not fight it. I didn't fight it, yet it was scary as all get out. However, I was being supported. You've heard me talk about angels and spirit. Yes, I was being supported by my ancestors. I was being supported because my ancestors have a vested interest in my healing. Your ancestors have a vested interest in your healing. I no longer look at it as an oddity that I'm the only girl grandchild, and to my knowledge, great-grandchild of my paternal grandmother to bear her name. And in the culture, going back to the African culture, to bear the name of an ancestor is to be a big responsibility. And so as I embrace and love the woman that I am embracing the woman whose name I bear. Yes, Ardella. Okay? And so that's where I'm getting my support. I'm getting my support from the ancestors, from the angels, from the ascended masters, from Mother, Father, God. Yes. And I'm saying that on camera. And I am no longer hiding it. That's the reason why I love the woman that I am, because there's no more hiding. And as I was saying, the only reason why I'm able to be in this space right now is because the triggering brought up trauma that, isn't it amazing? Let me just ask you a question. Because if you have old trauma, most of it from childhood, matter of fact, that's the first time you probably endured any trauma, okay? And so if you had endured emotional trauma, then you know that you may not know the biology of it, but within your amygdala. It's a little bitty walnut shape sitting up in your brain, okay? In the amygdala is stored the memory, not just the visual memory, but the energetic memory of the trauma. Yes. So that energetic memory of the trauma is what crops up when you are triggered. And it's the memory of that, it's that energy, that what you feel within your body, that causes you to do things like self-sabotage. Yeah, there's that word. It causes you to, jump back. You're making moves forward, but then something reminds you of what someone said about you or what somebody did to you or whatever. It reminds you of it and it sucks you right back into it. All right? So what we have to do is we have to release that trauma. And you say, well, how? Well, this morning, what I received was that our senses are not just for us to see with our eyes. Our senses are not just for us to hear, or smell, or taste, or touch, but our senses are given to us for healing. Yes, our senses are given to us for healing. And you say, well, what if someone is blind? Well, guess what? Then that means that the other senses are heightened. But we have every resource within us to heal the childhood trauma. And I'm going to say the key for me is recognizing and observing the trauma, yet not becoming the trauma. This is where I know deep within me that the reason why I have survived in order to thrive in this point of my life is because I would not become a victim. That doesn't feel good. I don't care what anybody say. It doesn't feel good to be a victim. It doesn't feel good to own that, to wear it like a second skin. So when I was triggered, all of that stuff, it was like, if you remember the ice bucket challenge, that's what it felt like. It felt like, shoosh, all of that energy was coming up, okay? And what was I going to do with it? Because I no longer believed in those fears. And when I recognized that while all that energy was coming up to the surface, I no longer believed. And my belief in anything is the igniter of whatever I place my belief in. The synchronicities that follow are amazing and let you know that this is a blend. This is where spirit and science come together. With spirit leading it. Okay? Science just backing it up. Where it really needs no backup, but that's neither here nor there. Some people need backup, but the deep spiritual aspects of it don't, because they prove themselves over and over again. But what I'm doing now is I'm reading a book called Quantum Healing. I'm rereading it from 20 plus years ago. It's by Dr. Deepak Chopra, Quantum Healing, and he did a remix in 2015. And what spoke to me today, because everything about beliefs and mindsets and the power of the subconscious mind, that's what emotional physical therapy is about. That's where I've been called to, believe it or not. I've run away from it a few times, but you can't run away from your purpose. You cannot run away from your purpose. I haven't been healed in order to just bask in the healing of it. I've been healed so that I can be an example and a guide for those who also desire to heal. You understand what I said, example and guide, because you have to do the work. I can't do it for you. It's not my place to do it for you. But on page 80, and I took some sentences, passages from Quantum Healing that really jumped out at me this morning, because it's in synchronicity, it's in alignment with where I am. And it's on page 80 of the book, and I personalized it. And this is what I wrote. There is no way to step outside of the paradigm I totally believe in. All I can achieve is the paradigm I believe in. Eventually, problems will arise that cannot be solved without shattering the present paradigm so that a new one can be formed. Consciousness includes beliefs, expectations, fears, wishes, faith, and hope. What grasped at me was about the shattering, because a quantum leap is leaping totally outside of what you are comfortable with. And when you allow yourself to experience a quantum healing, that only comes about from the shattering of an old paradigm. And that's exactly what I set in motion when I posted that picture and said that I celebrate and welcome the woman, that I love the woman I have become, the woman that I am. But I wasn't able to do that, love her, until I was able to really and truly love Ardella, my little girl self, and demonstrate to her over and over and over again just how valuable she is, and that I was going to be there with her every step of the way, that I was going to, kiss her boo-boos. Yes, I do that in meditation. I hold her. I go back to those times when she was crushed, and I hold that little girl and I let her cry her eyes out. I rock her. I love on her, because that's all a child is really wanting, is to love and be loved. A child wants to be secure in the knowing that the people who say that they love them, actually do and demonstrate that unconditionally. So the trigger had a purpose. And the trigger was like a test, like a pop quiz. Okay? And that pop quiz was, are you going to love me through this? So when you are triggered, that's your little boy or little girl self testing you to find out, are you going to love your inner child through whatever storm is in your life at this time? Just think about that. Over the next week, I will be announcing a trauma release series. It's going to be like Monday through Friday, not next week, but the week following. And I'm going to be working, introducing to some and presenting to others some modalities to help you heal. All right, so look for that. All the information. If you are interested and you want to get the information exclusively before everybody else, drop me an inbox message, okay? Have a great Thursday afternoon. Bye-bye.